Hello, I'm Cliff Pryor, CEO of the Global Steering Group, and I'm delighted to introduce Ibukun Orisika, our next keynote speaker. Ibukun chairs the First Bank of Nigeria Limited. She's also an author, a motivational speaker, an entrepreneur. She's passionate about causes that promote women and is president of the International Women's Entrepreneurial Challenge and co-founder of Women in Business, Management and Public Service. Welcome, Ibukun.
Thank you very much, and I'm grateful for the invitation and for the introduction by Cliff. Before I start, I'd really like to thank Sir Ronald Cohen and Dalika for inviting me to be part of this. And I was saying to Cliff earlier that in Ronald's book, and it felt to me as if I wrote a part of it because of the alignment of thoughts, the things that I consider important to my life. And it's really important that one way or the other, we find our music. We find the things that mean the world to us, that make full, such that it's not just about the numbers or that which we can acquire or achieve or the deliverables, but the things that are meaningful that we do on a day-by-day basis. And there's nothing more satisfying and meaningful than the things that impact on other people's lives and change them positively. Anyway, that's side. And my topic for my keynote is impact disruption. It reads originally in all of your notes as entrepreneurs, corporates, and finance, but with a slight adjustment, the first part will be finance providers, because that is more encapsulating of all that is represented by that part of it. And in the little time that I have, I just want us to at the world as it is right now and look at the kind of world of the future that would like to live for our children. I have 3 sons that I love very much, 29, 26, and my 18-year-old. And I think about my grandchildren when they do come and the kind of life and world I would love them to live in. And I look around in a country like mine, Nigeria, and the continent of Africa, and maybe countries like India and all of that, and you look at the sheer population, the youthful population of the world, and you realize that in terms of what is going on right, we haven't done a great job of creating a world that best supports the future, where all these people, the ones we love and the ones around us who are part of our lives, because we do not live in isolation one way or the other, where they all will live. And we all have a time bound, and one way or the other, we're going to sign out at one point or the other. So will we make it count by the way we look at issues or respond to the challenges of our times and our seasons? So without a doubt, there's a definite need for us to disrupt the pattern and the play right now. And looking at my topic, you would realize that there are 3 key components of it in terms of to effectively be able to disrupt in a positive manner that we change the terms of reference and the way the game is played positively on behalf of many people who they have a voice but do not have the influence to make their voice count. And therefore, things don't change because they don't have the power to move it. And my challenge to those of us who have the voice and the influence, who are gathered on this platform today, along with the many other people, whether political or otherwise, who can cause real change, is to reset the game and to disrupt in a positive way that we create the right impact We must think about entrepreneurs as tools of change. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I spent the last 31 years, going on 32 years now, from just before my 26th birthday, building a manufacturing group in furniture and security systems and a few other things that I found myself getting involved in. And I think an entrepreneur is a dreamer. An entrepreneur is a problem solver. An entrepreneur lives from the desire to change things, and they're usually driven by what they see that is not working, that their skills come together to try to cause the change that is necessary. However, there are too many entrepreneurs that operate at a subsistence level, and therefore they have the right ideas, but they're not able to use those ideas to create the right kind of impact on the scale that is necessary, because resources do not align behind the ideas in order to cause the change that we need. And except you've lived in certain circumstances, you cannot see some of the issues that you need to address, or the best way to address them in a way that you solve the problems effectively. When you solve a problem from the heart, your dedication and diligence to it as an entrepreneur is different from trying to build a business just from a business plan in terms of something that looks like it can make money. And which is why finding the right kind of lovers of situations or challenges that you call entrepreneurs, people will fall in love with a situation and seek to turn that situation around for good, and creating an environment that enables them to not just do that at a subsistent level, but to do it in a scaled up manner that the ripple effect of what they do affects the rest of the world. One of my favorite stories will be a company, Delight Incorporated, Delight Designs Incorporated, which I have the privilege of chairing, and two young men who have had, they could be doing anything, but their life stories are different, but they came together at business school in Stanford, Ned Tozan and Sam Goldman, and together coming from different lines and different experiences, they have together with other partners, with the alignment of various financial institutions and players like Acumen, who believed in the vision of what they were trying to do, even after they had made enough sacrifice in fighting for what they believe could change lives, to the company that 14 years after right now is standing as a company that has impacted over 100 million people across the globe. It's always a pleasure to listen to the stories of how Delight has come to be, to see the joy that all those that have been involved in the process of it at different levels, the entrepreneurs, the financiers, the impact investors, the people who came with them and fell in love, and even though they weren't getting the economic value at that point in time, still decided to stay because they saw the value of changing lives, as well as building a business as a vision they were willing to commit to long-term in order to change, to impact the lives of so many people across the world. Imagine two young men, 14 years after, with all the support that they have, impacting 100 million people that had no other way to get the kind of solution that they've offered, safer, more environmentally friendly in terms of the solar product solutions that they deliver, and the business opportunities they have created in terms of micro businesses who are able to ride on the back of the products, family enterprises, the education impact because of young children or students who are able to study even though there's no public power source in their neighborhood or in their schools, and all of those things. For me, I'm at the stage of my life where the projects that excite me are the projects that are developmental in nature, but yet economically viable, which is what makes entrepreneurs special. They're not NGOs. They're not just trying to have a charity project. They're trying to build a sustainable project, but they need special assistance in some ways because it's more patient return. It takes a bit more time, but you need the entrepreneur working with the right kind of corporates who are socially responsible, looking for the right kind of impact and influence within the economies or the societies or communities where they work, who then invest part of their excess returns in some sense because they have decided that this is important enough. And anyway, doing good business is always smart business because ultimately it generates economic return even for the organizations who are invested in that process. If we have more people empowered educationally, economically, health-wise, using different solutions that are developed by entrepreneurs all across the world, we'll find that we can have a better world. We'll have more, we'll have brighter minds, right-thinking people who affect political systems, even in their countries. There are many unplanned consequences of what entrepreneurs do. If you have people well-educated and right-thinking, when politicians are trying to take advantage of them, as they tend to do on our side of the world, and well, as it seems right now, in many more parts of the world than we ever thought, then people can't make the right kind of decisions because they have the mindset to think through the issues in order to conclude right. When you talk about the financial providers, look at the time and the seasons. I come from the financial services sector. And when you think in terms of what is going on right now, fintechs and entrepreneurs looking for other ways to create inclusiveness in the financial services sector, they have in many ways forced the big financial institutions to have to play on some of their terms. Yes, we have the infrastructure, we have the market size, we have the reach, we have the influence and all of that. But let me use my country as an example. Before a lot of digital impact on the financial services sector in the last few years, in a country of about 200 million people, we largely had about 50 million people that were fully banked in some sense, which is 25% of the population. You had the largest portion of the population outside of the banks. And it always felt as if there was no way to serve them efficiently until the younger generation entrepreneurs came with all sorts of fintech solutions using technology to drastically cut down the cost of servicing these people, finding alternative solutions to service them that were affordable to them, delivering financial services to them on a pay-as-you-go basis that made it possible for them to be able to take loans in order to take opportunities that were available, which they never could do, but also meeting them at their point of need, using factors different from our standard factors of evaluating if they were credit worthy or not. But they also needed the corporates. They needed the big financial corporates. We have the database of the people banked and unbanked in many ways. We have the infrastructure that can make their life easier, make it easier for them to reach a wider market. We have built models off of the work that we've seen that the fintechs have done. At my bank, for instance, we've been very focused on developing our agency banking network across our country, which has served for us as a major tool to maximize our investment in fixed assets across the country. For a 125-year-old institution, we obviously have a lot of fixed assets. We're not as light on our feet as we'd like to be. But because of technology and all the activities of the fintechs, going into our agency banking and other solutions like that, we've been able to create other value out of the assets we already have in order to reduce our cost of service. And that has allowed us to partner with the young entrepreneurs developing a lot of financial services solutions and has supported our ability to deliver financial solutions to communities that we would otherwise not have been able to reach effectively. What's my conclusion to you? We need to disrupt everything right now. We need to find where all the factors align. We need to find how the entrepreneurs work with the corporate, how the financial providers and the financial institutions all align, working hand in hand together to find the right solutions that makes sure that we build a better world, a world where everybody is taken care of in their own way, where life can be made better for all of us. No man is an island. We need one another. We need to live together. We need to work together. When your neighbor smiles, you can go to sleep, and we can all be happy that we've done our bit to build a better world. So let's use our different platforms. Let's use our opportunities. Let's use our voices. Let's combine the forces together. Let's give what it takes to use the talents of the entrepreneur, to use the size and the scale of the corporates, and to use the resources of the financial providers to change the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibukan. Positive disruption, lovers of challenges, and the voice, giving voice to the people. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Cliff.